Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Madam President of the Artegan, N-A-T-A-L-E-E, teaching you energy mastery through tarot, through astrology, psychokinesis, other psychic abilities, my astral travelers, lucid dreamers, remote viewers, people fighting demons, people working with all kinds of angels and deities, all of the witchy things. Welcome, willkommen. And if you're just here to heal and move forward on your path, welcome, willkommen. I just want to I don't know. I wore this shirt yesterday with a had like a hole in it. I'm just like Natalie, it's not who I am. So anyway, welcome, willkommen. This is your Gemini full moon. This is your first full moon in Gemini that has been a normal full moon. There hasn't been a chill Gemini full moon since the end of 2019, before the nodes went into Gemini and Sagittarius. So this particular full moon in Gemini is actually a culmination of the receipts right here. The June 10th Gemini solar eclipse. So what was going on? Hey, comment. Yes, Sarah, happy Gemini full moon. Oh, Al, happy Gemini full moon to my Gemmies, my Gemini sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. This is your polishing moment, okay? For you guys specifically. Polishing. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I care about. These are the people I want in my life. These are my people. I've seen who really cares about me. We'll get into more of that on the Patreon afterwards in the nights here. But yeah, happy Gemmy full moon to the gems out there. Okay, so speaking of which, Gemini, what was your birthday like? Everyone think back to June 10th, around June, beginning of June 2021. What was new? It was a very powerful and fated new beginning in this part of your life. And there could have been like another path opening up, because Gemini is the sign of the twins. It is a sign of duality. So there could have been two or more options. Okay, so you were open to that and you're like, let me explore this, or you were not, and maybe you picked a different option, you know. This is the time to like pick. This is the time to decide, because there's this big climax here with this full moon. And it's the climax that brings about change, very important change. I mean, literally, there's the full moon tomorrow. Venus goes retrograde. The sun moves into Capricorn. Sorry, I get too excited for that. I'm so ready for Capricorn season. You have no idea. I just like come alive. Sorry. I probably have really bad coffee tongue too. I'm out of coffee. I can only have like a little bitty bit. Anyway, Tuesday the 21st, sun enters Capricorn. And then on Thursday the 23rd, we have Saturn in Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus retrograde. Uranus is retrograde at this time. This is the third one. There's one more next October of 2022. Venus conjuncts Pluto again, but now Venus is retrograde on the 24th on Christmas Eve. Then the week after that, Jupiter moves into Pisces. Mercury conjuncts Pluto. Mercury conjuncts Venus retrograde. So it's just like a lot, like these last couple weeks, like your Gemini full moon, there's like this climax right now, but then it's going to keep on changing. It's going to keep on. Okay, so whatever you decide right now, whatever the last bit of information is that's coming up for you, it might even be like a return of the past, or might even be like a return of a value system, or return. I was like, oh my God, I want this, or oh my God, I feel this again, or oh my God. And you know, Venus retrograde with this really long conjunction to Pluto, it's bringing up, okay, if anyone's trying to be controlling, toxic behavior, jealous, vengeful, anything toxic, and especially abuse of power, especially trying to use femininity incorrectly, if you're abusing your power, if you're a feminine and your toxic femininity is like, you know, and you have abused your power, or you're abusing it now, ooh, that's gonna come back and hit you like right upside your little head. Okay, so it's just gonna the backlash. It's going to be immediate. It's going to backfire immediately. And you guys have heard me talk about it on this channel. Like, yes, there's toxic masculinity. Yes, there's toxic femininity. And this is what like people are like really close to being ready for me to talk about, is the original abuse of power, which is mothers. Toxic femininity. It creates misogynists. It creates misogynistic feelings in men and women. And it creates a hatred of women, because when you're small, you're helpless, and there cannot be any boundaries because you need your mom, you need somebody to wipe your butt, you need someone to feed you. So when those boundaries get crossed, it creates a lot of that needs to be healed. Okay, I'll get into that later. Anyway, so if you are abusing your power, either sexually, or trying to hold sex over someone, or trying to hold anything over someone, that'll backfire real quick. And if you have in the past, that can be unearthed now. So if you are wondering what someone's doing to you, if you like wondered, was this person manipulating me? Or if you're wondering, was this woman manipulating me? Or I have a feeling like this person, if this is like the mother of your children, if this is your sister, if this is your mother in the past, if this is your daughter, and you're like, I think my daughter is like doing, if you have like these suspicions, this Venus retrograde with the conjunction of Pluto is going to unearth toxic femininity, but it's also going to unearth abuses of power for everyone. So not like just women and just the feminine, but also that's why we're going to get a lot of RAPE allegations coming out. We saw a few coming out this week already. There's going to be more. There's going to be a lot having to do with the rights of people's bodies, the rights of women's bodies, and what they can do with pregnancies. And it's all of that. So there's going to be like, that's like the battleground for the next, mid-November to the beginning of March. But in your personal life, that's where we boil it down. How is it relating to you personally? How do you feel about your feminine energy? How do you use your feminine energy? How are you teaching people how to treat you with their feminine energy, their masculine energy? It's part of this climax. It's part of this big decision that you're making. How you relate to yourself. How do you feel about yourself? Whether this is your own confidence, as a woman, whether this is your confidence with women, about women, whether this is you're changing the different people in your life, so it's like, what have you been learning since June? What have you been exploring? Because this can be a resurgence. This could be bringing something from the past, but it can also be bringing up traumas and fears and doubts to be released. Because, God, I'm like all over the place. Okay. Because this last full moon, we're about to head into 2022, like in a few weeks, right? And this Venus retrograde is going to kind of make December, January, February like its own little time capsule. So the year is going to start on a weird sort of foot, a good foot, because at the end of the year, literally the 28th, when Jupiter moves into Pisces, that's when you want to look at mid-May to the end of July. What were you feeling? And that covers June. So it's kind of like, that's kind of an important part, an important thing to remember, how you were feeling the middle of May to the end of July. That's when Jupiter just dipped into Pisces just for a little bit. Whatever you were believing in, whatever was stirring your spirituality, whatever was feeling so good to you, whatever you were just like, I want to believe I can believe, that energy comes back at the end of December. And it stays until I think May, when Jupiter goes into Aries, and then it will go back at the end of the year. So, keep that in mind, the middle of May to the end of July. Because that covers June, and June 10th was the solar eclipse in Gemini. So this climax that you're experiencing right now, like right with that Venus retrograde, this full moon is like the last information that you'll need to make this decision. It's you choosing your path with these details of the feelings and the thoughts and the opinions and the priors. when I talk to people and people are trying to and listen more than I like speak in like, real life. And they kind of like want to, like they're not triggering me to like say anything and put like a big forceful opinion out. So they get more pointed with their questions. And they'll ask me certain things like very pointedly, like my position on certain things, because they'll say something maybe inflammatory or something that would normally elicit a very strong response one way or the other, and I just listen. And so what I'll say is my prior is XYZ until I get the rest of the information that I need to inform my opinion. So opinions are supposed to be flexible. A prior is kind of what you're thinking as you're getting information still before you even form your opinion. And even when I have an opinion, I will tell people I will change my opinion based on new information. So my Mercury's in Aquarius, so that's like my jam. But I'm just saying, like these, and this is the flex part of this full moon. The flexibility opens up options for you. So you had some flexibility in June, something kind of like opening up for you, and Jupiter was in Pisces. So you were like, ooh, you're inspired, you're feeling really good. It's the flexibility that was opening up options that you didn't believe was possible for yourself. So now you're making that decision of what you believe is possible for yourself. And there's like a whole feminine issue here with your inner femininity, how you respond to other women, the femininity in men and women, issues with mothers and daughters and sisters and wives and girlfriends and mistresses and daughters, like all of that. Okay. So what's interesting is that this full moon in Gemini is opposing the sun at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, which is the galactic center. So if you are a Sag and you have your birthday like kind of around now, the end of Sag season at 27 degrees, or if you have anything at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, that's the galactic center. That's the center of the universe. That's like a big black hole. But it's this point where information just, okay. So this is where I was getting, and I talked about this in the Monday weekly that I do here on YouTube to talk about the week ahead, about like the old geezer, just sort of like, like this old rock star sitting by the campfire and like telling the stories of his life, And so with this energy, you're stepping into a new belief system, but you have to live it. That's why the title of this video is like, it's time to be about it. Like you're not just talking about it, you be about it. So you have to live accordingly to this new belief system. You have to be devoted mentally, emotionally, and physically be about it. It's the story of your life. So if you believe this new story about your life, you have to live it. You have to live accordingly because it's yours. And if you want it, it's yours. You just have to let go of the beliefs that you hold on to keep yourself from it. Because that's the thing with this full moon is that okay, so the sun is opposing the moon. That's always the full moon. When the sun is with the moon, that's always the new moon. This full moon, they're in this opposition. They're both T-squaring Neptune and Pisces. So that same Neptune that was in Pisces, the middle of May. Sorry, Jupiter was in Pisces. So Neptune, so weird. T-squaring Neptune in Pisces. So that energy when Jupiter was in Pisces, the middle of May to the end of July, it's like, do you really believe it? Or are you deciding that it was just a fallacy, that it was just a lie, that it was just fake, that it was just a manipulation, that it was just a figment of your imagination? Whatever you decide, you're going to choose faith or you're going to choose fear. You're right. You're creating this reality for yourself. And that's like the hard part about this last full moon of the year, because everyone's going to kind of make up their mind about what they really think and believe 2020 was about. And then no one's going to change your mind. And everyone's going to like move forward in that belief. So whether they subscribe to fear or whether they subscribe to faith or whatever they subscribe to, it's how you decide you want to feel that determines your spirituality. And that determines how you live and move throughout your day, your day-to-day life. So that's what's happening for you on the scale of your life. Okay, so this full moon is in Gemini. Ruler of Gemini is Mercury. What's Mercury doing? Mercury is trining Uranus and Taurus, which is pretty cool. Surprise. Surprise. It'll be easier to change your mind. It's a breath of fresh air. It's brilliance. It's genius. You could be very creative. You could have like mental epiphany after mental epiphany. You can have really fantastic conversations. You could be discovering new podcasts. You could be if there was something difficult that you were trying to learn, it's like you finally break through that wall and you're like, I get it now. That's what it's like learning a language. It's like you just don't get it and you don't get it and you don't get it. And then like one day you just get it. So don't give up. If you're learning a language, don't give up. Keep trying. Okay. So yeah, it's very, very creative. But with Uranus energy, you just don't know which way it's going to go. So it's just very unpredictable. So there is that element of this full moon that there is like, you can break, if you want to direct this, you can direct this energy to try and overcome something. Oh yeah, leave your crystals out in the moonlight, charge your moon water, do all your witchy full moon things, your witchy rituals. This is a peak energy. It's a peak moment. I've got my telescope. I'm going to be looking at the full moon myself. And then this Mercury is also squaring Chiron. So Mercury squaring Chiron, this is where you have to reconcile how you used to respond to your feelings with the new way. You have to, you must nurture yourself in order to believe and manifest the change that you want in your life. You have to think differently. For instance, this T square to Neptune in Pisces is saying, I believe, I have faith. I'm being guided by something bigger than myself. Because of that mid-May to the end of July energy. How strong was it? How strong was your experience of it? Because if this square to Chiron is activating the insecurity and the trauma and the fear and everything, you won't go, I believe in this. You're going to pick a different horse on the merry-go-round and you're going to say, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in anything. That's a very narrow reality. I'm just going to say that. It's narrow and very sad. But some people are going to be like, I'm afraid, I'm fearful. They're going to project their fear onto people and situations, onto the news. So all you have to do is pay attention to how you want to feel and pay attention to how other people want to feel. Because if they want to feel mad, they will find something to be mad about. And that is their spirituality. If they want to feel like a victim, they will find someone or something to play the role of the persecutor that will make them feel persecuted. Okay. If someone wants you to be the persecutor, they will find something to be like, oh no, they're gonna be like, oh, they're gonna be like, oh, I don't know what to say. I almost want to like take this person, like kind of do like a little, but they will find something to like attack you for. They will find something to, if someone wants you to be the persecutor, they will, oh my God, Natalie's wearing like a svelte dress. She's wearing, she wants my husband. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. It's like that. They will take something that doesn't have anything to do with anything. And they'll just like really pinpoint it and harness on that like one little detail because they want to feel that about you. And when that's happening, because it's T squared coming down onto Neptune and Pisces, if that's happening, you have to not get sucked into that kind of a whirlwind. You have to let yourself. I thought I had chapstick in this, but I don't. I have the sunflower seeds in this purse. Sorry. I don't know why that was so random. When that's happening, because this is that too, like you guys are going to have people coming at you for some crazy things. And you're going to look at them like, what are you on? Like, how do you believe this? What are you thinking? You know, and people will look at you like, what are you thinking? And, you know, so this is just, I'm just trying to prepare you guys. I'm getting fidgety now. I'm just trying to prepare you guys for kind of like a break in reality. Like some people are going to take the blue pill and some people are going to take the red pill. Some people are going to follow the white rabbit. Some people are going to, you know, can we put that on a t-shirt? I don't like talking about that stuff, but it's like, it's the truth. Like, it's not always spiritual. It's either like spiritual is the high vibe of Neptune energy. Because the other way people use it is fear and addiction. And, oh, be very careful right now. Like, go get tested because this is like someone gave you an STD and you find out about it. This is you put a needle in your arm and you got something, you know, like viral things and coming down with sicknesses and just no boundaries, like medically and virally and bloodily. So like, oh, like take a look at that. Take a look at like, cause you can also be realizing, oh my God, I wasn't respecting my boundaries. Oh my God. Like I really just should have just been doing this thing over here. But I wanted to see what that was, but I wanted to say, so I would say, look at the middle of May, the end of July, specifically around June 10th, and see what was like the best thing that you had going. And what you were believing at the time. How does it look right now? Because this Venus retrograde is changing perceptions, and it's bringing like I'm telling you, Pluto has taken Venus. Pluto has taken Persephone. Hades has taken Persephone to the underworld. And so that's all going to be unearthed. Where we've been giving our power away. Where we've been betraying others. Here's the thing. You got to overcome the cognitive dissonance that doesn't want to believe that you have hurt someone or that you can hurt someone or that, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to take that one, like, oh my God, I hurt so many people. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to close that cognitive dissonance to be able to heal yourself so that you don't hurt people anymore. And you know what I'm saying? So just like the people that aren't ready to do that and that just want to keep feeling sorry for themselves about being hurt are the ones that are going to keep hurting people. And their cognitive dissonance won't even let them understand that. Won't let them know that. They'll just be the hero in the story. They'll just be the victim in the story. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm not rambling too much. Okay. So that's the T-squared to Neptune that I don't like because it's just, I want everyone to choose faith, obviously, but you might choose fear, but whatever you choose, you're right. And that this is what's going to lead us into the Pluto return of February it's February 22nd, 2022. So people are going to be, this is the thing. Let's like Helen of Troy. It's like, what are you going to go to battle for? What is worth fighting for? Because people are going to be fighting a projection of something, you know? So it's like, pick like the highest thing, the highest dream for your life possible. Subscribe to that. I feel like I should infuse some physical comedy in this video somehow. Okay, let's move on. There's a lot to do today. Okay. Oh, that's right. That's what I was talking about. It's Chiron. Okay, so the Mercury square Chiron, you really have to talk to yourself differently. You have to talk to other people differently. You have to change your mind to be able to live this other timeline, this other reality. The T-squared to Neptune. Okay, all the pressure, if you're feeling pressure, all the pressure you're feeling comes down to faith or fear, and this is the timeline jump. Also, be very forgiving at this time. Be forgiving, be compassionate. If you're letting go of someone or something, let go with love. If like let it go, because you guys are on different timelines, and they'll either learn and they'll grow and they'll meet you in your timeline, or they won't. You know, it's hard. It's hard, but trust. That's the thing with faith, is that you have to have trust. Trust. Sun and Sag stepping out. I talked about that already. Okay, so one last thing about the Venus Pluto is that you want to take the truth as power to manifest. Because Pluto and Venus, like, they're going to bring up so much at this time, and it's how you respond to your own feelings. It's how you respond to your own self, how you decide that you're going to treat yourself, that determines the decision that you're going to make. Because it's full moon in Gemini, you might either not want to make a decision, or you might want to run away, but it's not going to work. Like, everything's changing so much and so quickly. Tuesday, the sun enters Capricorn. Thursday, Saturn and Uranus square. So we're so close to that being exact. So what this whole full moon is about is, how are you going to change in a structured way? How are you going to provide structured change for yourself and your life? It can't be too rebellious, because that's like the rebel without a cause, and that's just bucking just for the sake of being against, and that'll work against you every time. On the other hand, you can't just clamp down and be so oppressive and create rules and just go in the high gear on the other side and just try to over control the situation because you're afraid of change. Like both of those, like none of like, so it's like about, how are we going to change and grow in a way that is measured and structured and that's supported. You want to support your own growth, you want to support your own change. And with this Pluto Venus in Capricorn, it's very empowering if you let the truth change what wants to be changed. Okay, so like I said, this all comes down to, if you believe. Here's my advice. I would say, look back at June, look back at the middle of June to the end of July, and whatever was feeling so good and whatever you were really believing in, look at it again and let yourself love. Let yourself love yourself. Let yourself love others and the people and the situations, and let everyone be who they're choosing to be, and just respect that process. Respect everyone's individuality, because this Pluto retrograde, this Pluto conjunct Venus retrograde is, it's a separating energy. Even though it's this conjunction, it's separating. It's like alchemical. So alchemy is taking something whole and separating it, and then diluting both individually to its purest form, and then bringing it back together again. That's kind of what I'm seeing with this Venus-Pluto conjunction in the month of December, and then the Venus retrograde, is that whatever is being like pulled apart and separated within you and in your life, just trust, because maybe it's just something that you both need to go through to be diluted and to do your own growing, to be diluted to the purest form, so that it can come back together stronger. And that's how you make gold, and that's how, the Philosopher's Stone and all that. And it's pure. It's very pure. So that's part of what needs to change this year, is your approach. And with the Chiron energy being very highlighted at this full moon, you just have to change your mind. That's all. Now, what you have working for you is this full moon is trining Jupiter. That's really lucky. That's lucky. That's really lucky. So just do it. Don't doubt yourself. It's like there's a knack. Like, you'll just have a knack for knowing. You'll have a knack for knowing. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take this over to the flip side. We are going to do the 12 sign by sign breakdown, and then we're going to pull tarot as well. So sit with all of this. I know it got kind of like gunky talking about toxic femininity. It's never like a super fun thing to talk about, but it's the truth and it's honest. And it's something that everyone needs to kind of confront within themselves if we're going to have a society that is moving in the right direction. So don't worry about the news. Don't worry about society. Don't worry about the Pluto return. Don't worry about any of that, because you are the change. When every individual changes, it changes the collective. It changes everyone else's reality too. So just focus on yourself, because as much healing as you can do and being an example of what healing can look like for someone else, you need to be someone's example, especially if you're a parent. Then you definitely need to be somebody's example. So I will leave you on that very high note, and just continue to believe that you can be about it. You know, not just thinking and talking about it, but like living it and being about it. Okay. All right. And find a way to laugh. I have way too many TikToks like in my phone, just like funny things. So remember to laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. And I love you guys. I will see you over on the flip side. Until then, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings.